Biodiversity. What is biodiversity? Biological diversity or biodiversity is a term we use to describe the variety of life on Earth. It refers to the variety of living organisms, that is plants, animals, their habitat, their genes and even the ecosystems. Biodiversity is the foundation of life on Earth. It is crucial for the functioning of ecosystems which provide us with products and services without which we cannot live. It is the measure of the health of the ecosystems. Greater the biodiversity, better is the health of the ecosystem. The term biodiversity was used first by wildlife scientist and the conservationist Raymond F. Deschman in the year 1968. A biodiversity hotspot is a region with a high level of endemic species, while hotspots are spread all over the world. The majority are forest areas and most are located in the tropics. The oceans, especially the coral reefs and the wetlands, are the hottest spots of aquatic biodiversity. Biodiversity can be divided into three kinds: species biodiversity, ecosystem biodiversity and genetic biodiversity. The Convention on Biological Diversity, that is CBD, known informally as the Biodiversity Convention, is an international legally binding treaty and initiated by United Nations Environmental Programme UNEP. The convention was opened for signature on 5th June 1992 at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, that is the Rio Earth Summit. The convention has three main goals. First, conservation of biological diversity. Second, sustainable use of its components. And third, fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from genetic resources. Biodiversity at risk due to human activities. Extinction has been natural routine even in the past from a geological perspective. There has been episodes of mass extinction like that of dinosaurs in modern times due to human activities. Species and ecosystems are threatened as never before. Let us study the human actions that lead to loss of biodiversity. First, overpopulation. The loss of a species and ecosystem can be attributed to accelerating transformation of Earth due to the growing human population. Second, overuse of resources. The growing population consume more resources. We have degraded or destroyed roughly half of the world forest. We are fast depleting the fossil fuels. Consumerism is leading to overuse of minerals too. Fresh water resources are being overused and polluted. We even overharvest the ocean resources. These are definitely leading to disappearing of species and destruction of ecosystem. Overhunting and poaching has been a significant cause of extinction and threatening of a number of species. Tigers, rhinos, passenger pigeon, snowy ergot are few examples. Over-harvesting for food, medicine, fashion and other potential uses over the past year is also a cause of extinction of species. Habitat loss, degradation, fragmentation is an important cause of extinction. Every species has a specific food and habit need, which when altered or destroyed make them vulnerable to extinction. Deforestation is the major reason for habitat destruction. Habitat destruction occurs due to conversion of forests to other land use like agriculture, infrastructure development, human settlements, dams, etc. Invasion by the non-native species is another important cause of extinction. Endemic species often cannot compete for food and become prey for the introduced species. Pollution. The industrial development and transportation has increased the pollution of air, water and soil to such a level that many of the sensitive species perish. Climate change. Changing global climate is a threat to species and ecosystem. Distribution of species is largely determined by the climate, and if the climate changes, the species are not able to adjust. Man, the super consumer. Impact of his action on the earth's resources. Reason for concern: economic, ecological and aesthetic. The word resources is used to describe the materials present in large quantities and held in reserve for future use. If these resources occur in nature, they are called natural resources. Natural resources are derived from the environment and are usually distributed. The resources can be living like forest, wildlife, microorganisms, or non-living like land, water, air, fossil fuel and minerals, ores. Types of natural resources. Natural resources can be divided on the basis of renewability or renewable and non-renewable resources. Renewable natural resources. These are those resources which have the capacity to replenish or renew by themselves naturally. Water, soil and living organisms are some examples of renewable resources. They are continuously available and their quantity does not decrease considerably due to overuse by humans. Non-renewable natural resources. These resources which cannot be renewed or take a long time to renew are called non-renewable resources. Coals, petroleum, minerals, ores, etc. are examples of non-renewable resources on earth. Resources are renewable when their rate of consumption exceeds the rate of replenishment. A good example of this are fossil fuels, which are in the category because their rate of formation is extremely slow. That is, it takes millions of years for formation. Therefore, they are considered non-renewable resources. Factors that lead to depletion of resources: overuse or irrational use of resources. The greed of human beings lead to the overexploitation and overuse of the natural resources. Overfishing leads to decline in fish resources. Continuous agriculture leads to decrease in soil fertility. Irrational use means not using our resources, that is, we must use our resources wisely and without wasting them. Using shower for bathing instead of bucket is irrational use of water resources. Using car to transport single individual is another example of wasting precious fossil fuel. A carpool or public transport can be an alternative option. Non-equitable distribution of resources. Natural resources are not equally distributed throughout the earth's surface. Hence, there is an overexploitation of the resources where it is found to supply them to the place where they are not found. In addition, there lies cost of transportation of these resources to the place of demand. Technological and industrial development. Development in science and technology has led to development of new products and establishment of more industries. The newly set up industries raise the demand of resources like minerals, fuel, water, land, etc. These industries not only deplete the natural resources but also contaminate the air, water and soil with the pollutants they release. Overpopulation. The unprecedented rise in population is one of the most important causes of resource depletion. The rise in population increases the demand for food, shelter, clothing, water, electricity, transportation, healthcare, educational institutions, etc. Increase in demand of food leads to intensive cropping, leading to decrease in soil fertility and conversion of forest into cropland. Infrastructure development leads to change in land use pattern. There is increase in demand of fossil fuel and more generation of waste. Major consequences of resources depletion. Resource depletion adversely affect the ecological balance. Natural resources are interconnected and so impact created by one resource affect the human being in numerous ways. Imbalance in nature. Due to human activities like industrialization, transportation, mining, and deforestation, etc., the ecological balance has been disturbed. For example, increase in deforestation leads to an increase in the temperature and change in rainfall pattern. Due to changes in climate and overuse of land, desertification has taken place in many areas. Deforestation leads to soil erosion, floods, drought, less absorption, storage and release of gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen. Due to increase in the temperature, wildlife which is sensitive to climate. Shortage of material. Nature takes its own time to replenish its resources. Depletion of resources causes shortage of material. This is caused by industrialization, urbanization and overpopulation. The demand exceeds the supply. The process of soil formation is a slow process. The inch of soil is formed in about 200 to 1000 years. Fossil fuels like coal, oil, etc. take millions of years to form. Wood can be obtained from trees. After about 15 to 20 years, saplings grow into a tree. As a result of growing demand, fossil fuels are being depleted at a rate of 1 lakh times faster than they are being formed. At the present rate of uses, the coal resources are likely to last for about 200 years. Similarly, crude oil reserves would be exhausted in just 50 years. These resources are non-renewable and takes millions of years to form. It is therefore necessary to reduce the dependence on such energy sources and look for alternative sources of energy like solar energy, tidal energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, which are renewable and eco-friendly. Struggle for existence. There would be a struggle between human beings and animals for the available resources. Most of the time, human beings win. They destroy the natural habitat of the species living there and they may become extinct. Slacking of economic growth. The economic growth of a country is dependent on the amount of resources it has. More the amount of resources, more is the number of goods a country can produce and export, leading to an increase in the economic growth. In countries like India, which are overpopulated, there is overconsumption of resources for satisfying the needs of its own citizens. Therefore, only a little is left for export, thereby causing the slackening of economic growth. Other effects related to depletion of resources. Removal of topsoil. Topsoil is the upper layer of the soil which is most productive and fertile layer of the soil. It is important for agricultural productivity and growth of vegetation. Topsoil may be removed due to deforestation, faulty agricultural practices, runoff due to heavy rain, construction activities, etc. Deforestation results in rise in temperature, less rainfall due to less transpiration, soil erosion, decrease in forest productivity, loss of habitat for large number of species of flora and fauna. Desertification is a desert-like condition created due to soil pollution, soil erosion, intensive cultivation, salinization of soil due to excessive addition of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. There is no scope of growth of any vegetation on such lands until soil conditioning is done. Depletion of groundwater. The water that seeps into the ground is very important water resources. It is a source of drinking water for the cities with no water bodies nearby. This water fills up the space in the aquifer. Excessive use of groundwater for fulfilling the needs of the growing population and irrigation not only depletes it, but there is also danger of caving in the ground due to vacuum created by the depletion of water. Conservation of resources. Use of renewable resources such as solar power, wind energy, tidal energy, geothermal energy not only reduces the pollution but also saves the non-renewable fossil fuels like coal and petroleum. Use of alternate sources of energy like CNG, biogas, biofuel, gas oil, ethanol, hydrogen gas, algal fuel, etc. can also help in conservation of the fossil fuel and wood as a source of energy in rural areas. Using biofertilizers and biopesticides instead of chemicals will prevent degradation of soil and even stop contamination of groundwater. Stop all activities leading to deforestation. Start afforestation programs in cities, rural areas and forest. Social forestry and agroforestry must be carried out. Stop soil erosion but not allowing cutting of trees and control overgrazing. Stop unnecessary wastage of water and water pollution. Trickle drip irrigation and using recycled water for irrigation. Use of carpool and public transport. Use of 4R policy of refuse, reduce, reuse and recycle. Rainwater harvesting is an age-old method of water conservation. The rainwater is collected in traditional rainwater harvesting systems like Johad, Kund, tanks, temple ponds, etc. or modern rooftop water harvesting system. Conserving our genetic resources in situ and ex situ. Wildlife is an essential component of the ecosystem. It makes the ecosystem stable. Any activity that disturbs them brings adverse changes in the biosphere. Two main strategies to conserve wildlife are in situ conservation. It means conservation of wildlife in its natural surroundings or in its natural habitat. It ensures protection of the ecosystem of the original habitat and include protected areas like national park, wildlife sanctuaries and biosphere reserves. Ex situ conservation. It refers to the protection of the species outside their natural habitat in artificial conditions under human care. Examples are botanical garden, zoo, aquarium, park, agriculture research center, gene banks, tissue culture and DNA banks, etc. Wildlife protected area, that is in situ conservation. Objectives. The objectives of the protected areas, whether a national park, wildlife sanctuary or biosphere reserve, are common. They are protection of natural habitat through controlled limited use of species, maintenance of viable number of species, establishment and protection of areas through legislation for the conservation of wildlife, educating the public or wildlife protection. Conducting research in specific areas of wildlife. National park. National park is an area assigned by the government strictly for the betterment of the wildlife. Human activities like forestry, grazing or agriculture is not permitted. Example, Jim Corbett National Park in Uttarakhand is famous for tigers, elephants, leopards and many other species of deer. Kaziranga National Park in Assam is famous for rhinoceros, Indian bison, swamp deer, pygmy hawk, etc. Sundarban National Park in West Bengal is famous for Bengal tigers. Kanha National Park in Madhya Pradesh is famous for tigers, Barasingha, deers, etc. Wildlife sanctuary. Wildlife sanctuary is a protected area that is reserved for the conservation of wildlife, plants and animal species. Human activities like harvesting of timber, collection of minor forest product and private ownership rights are allowed. Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary in Rajasthan also attracts migratory birds in winter. Gir Lion Sanctuary in Gujarat is famous for Asiatic lions. Kedarnath Sanctuary in Uttar Pradesh is famous for brown antlered deer. Biosphere Reserve. Biosphere Reserve is a special category of protected area of land or coastal environment which aims at conservation of ecosystems and genetic resource contained in them. Multiple land use is permitted by designating various zones. These are natural or core zone. This is the innermost zone where no human activity is allowed and is legally protected. As you can see in the figure 9.1, three zones of a biosphere reserve, where you can see the core or natural zone, buffer zone. This is the middle zone of resource use strategies where limited human activities are allowed. Transition zone. This is the outermost area of active cooperation between management and the local people. In these zone, activities like settlements, cropping, forestry, recreation and economic uses continue in harmony with conservation goals. Captive breeding, ex situ conservation. It refers to breeding of animals that are endangered in restricted or captive areas such as zoo, aquariums, research centers, etc. For example, the Nandankanan Zoological Park in Odisha is famous for captive breeding of white tigers and gharial. Threatened with extinction, ex situ conservation of endangered species is a good choice. The zoo not only serves as a place of entertainment but also as a place where ex situ conservation is carried out. Advantages of captive breeding. It helps in conserving rare and endangered species. It helps in reintroduction of species in their natural habitat where their number is less. It provides necessary conditions for breeding of animals where their habitat is destroyed, altered or affected by diseases. It helps in preserving the gene pool to avoid problems of interbreeding. It protects the carrying mother and offspring from predators and natural calamities. It provides food which might have been scarce in its habitat. Conservation strategies at national and international levels. Wildlife Protection Act 1972. An act to provide for the protection of wild animals, birds and plants and for matters concerned therewith. Aims. Appointment of authorities under the act such as directors, chief wildlife warden and other officers. Constitution of Wildlife Advisory Board. Allocation of duties of Wildlife Advisory Board. Prohibition of hunting. Maintenance of record of wildlife killed and captured. Hunting of animals to be permitted in certain areas. Prohibition of picking, uprooting, etc. of specific plants. Declaration of Sanctuary National Park Biosphere Reserve. Constitution of Central Zoo Authority. Prohibition of dealing in trophies, animal articles, etc. derived from scheduled animals. Punishment for wrongful seizures and offences. Rights scheduled tribes to be protected. Project Tiger 1972. Project Tiger was launched with the support from WWF in 1973 as centrally sponsored scheme of Government of India. The main aim was to protect the tigers maintained in a viable number and its habitats. Initially, the Project Tiger started with 9 tiger reserves covering an area of 16,339 square kilometer with a population of 268 tigers. At present, there are 27 tiger reserves covering an area of 37,761 square kilometer with a population of 1498 tigers. Many NGOs and corporate have joined hands to save the tigers since then. A tiger reserve consists of a core or critical tiger habitat which is to be managed as an inviolate area where no human activities are allowed and a buffer or peripheral area immediately abutting a core area which may be accorded a lesser degree of habitat protection having conservation oriented land use. IUCN, the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. IUCN is the world's oldest and largest global environmental organization. IUCN was founded in October 1948 as International Union for Protection of Nature IUPN following an international conference in Fontainebleau, France The organization changed its name in 1956 with the acronym IUCN. Its mission is to influence, encourage and assist societies throughout the world to conserve the integrity and diversity of nature and to ensure that any use of natural resources is equitable and ecologically sustainable. It is supposed to be world's authority on biodiversity conservation, nature-based solutions and environmental governance. It has three key areas: valuing and conserving nature, effective and equitable governance of nature's use, deploying nature-based solution to global challenges in climate, food and development. The Ramsar Convention on Wetlands 1971. The Ramsar Convention, that is the Convention on Wetlands of international importance, especially as waterfowl habitat. It is an international treaty for the conservation and sustainable utilization of wetlands, that is to stop the progressive encroachment on and loss of wetlands now and in the future, recognizing the fundamental ecological functions of wetland and their economic, cultural, scientific and recreational value. It is an intergovernmental treaty that provides the framework for national action and international cooperation for the conservation and wise use of wetland and their resources. Conservation on international trade in endangered species of flora and fauna, CITES. It is an international agreement between governments of different countries signed on 3rd March 1973. Its aim is to ensure that international trade in specimen of wildlife animals and plants does not threaten their survival. CITES protect approximately 5,000 species of animals and 28,000 species of plants against overexploitation through international trade. The major reason that contribute to the signing of this convention was the large-scale killing of elephants for their tusk, rhinoceros for their horns, tigers for their skin, and overexploitation of fish and plant resources by illegal trade to obtain large-scale profits in international market. The worst case was in poverty-stricken Africa, where elephants were poached to such an extent that the number of elephants came down drastically. However, poaching of elephants was reduced greatly because of international pressure and the decision of CITES to ban ivory sale at a meet in 1989. So that's all about the biodiversity ICSC environmental science class 9th and 10th. Stay tuned for more audiobooks on waste management, energy, addressing population and many more. Till then, happy learning. Bye bye.